Welcome to Life Saving Victoria's Where Are They Now series, bringing you inspiring settlement stories from some of the many multicultural youth that have entered and graduated from our employment and settlement pathway over the last decade. We catch up with them again to find out more about their settlement into Australia and, of course, where are they now?
So welcome, Ramzi. How are you?
Thank you very much, Michael. I'm very well. Thanks for having me.
No worries. It's a pleasure. You've done lots of speaking gigs before for Life Saving Victoria, and we work very closely together. So it's a little bit funny me interviewing you, although I know a lot of your story already.
Well, I'm excited.
Okay, so let's get into it. Well, first of all, I think we'd like to know where you grew up. Tell us a little bit about where you grew up. What was it like?
So I was born in Afghanistan, and due to the civil war back in the days, my mum decided to move to Pakistan in a hope of better life. So I spent most of my life in Pakistan.
Why Australia then? Why did you decide to come to Australia?
So because of the uncertainty back in Pakistan, things were a lot different and things were a lot unsafe for myself and for my family. And the concern that my mum and my siblings had for me, considering that I survived a number of explosions, that kind of scared them off and decided for me to move into a better country, a country with opportunities, with a better future,
with less explosions. That's
exactly
not many young people in Australia would say that.
Yeah, 100%. So that was one of the reason, one of the most important reason why my mum decided for me to be in a better country like Australia.
Yeah, cool. And how about that journey to Australia? Was that a safe journey? What was that like?
That's a very good question. So the journey to Australia was very, very different. I had experienced nothing like this in my life. So it was a life-changing journey, and it's safe to say that was the best ever decision that I made to travel. The journey was uncertain. Again, we did not know that we will get to our destination, we will get to Australia or not. It was risky because we did not know the many countries. We did not know where and how we are going to go. So there's always this feeling of getting caught. There's always this fear of what's going to happen next. And the boat journey was the most scary part of the journey, where you have tiny little boat with overcrowd, many people in there. We had a boat where it was very hard for us to even stretch. So you can tell how overcrowded it was.
Where was the first place that you came? You didn't come straight into Port Melbourne, did you, once you were in Australia?
No. So when we took the boat from Indonesia, and when we entered the international water, that's when we were captured by the Navy, and we were navigated to Christmas Island, where most of other refugees like me, they were already seeking refuge in there. So we spent quite a lot of time in Christmas Island just to go through the immigration process, like medical checks and the visa application and everything. And also we were lucky enough to have an opportunity to even go to school for a certain time when we were over there, just to learn the very basics of English over there.
So English school as soon as you came to Melbourne?
Yeah. So when we arrived in Melbourne, we were still in detention, but more like a community detention, where you're allowed to go to school just live a normal life. But there are still, you will be given certain restrictions or someone to look after you all the time when you are at that home, at that house with many other youth. I was given an opportunity to go to school, so we were not directly given an option to go to mainstream school, because obviously the English level was a lot lower to what the requirements are for the school. That's why I had to spend quite a bit of time in language school, learning the very basics of English first.
And somewhere along the way, you obviously got involved with life saving. How did that all happen? Was it because you were a good swimmer, or I don't know, how did that all work out?
Well, let me clarify that I was not a good swimmer. I could not swim at all. I met someone from Life Saving Victoria when I was at language school. That's where we had someone came into our school and talk about water safety. And then when we were given an opportunity to go to the beach, having an excursion, a day out at the beach, first time ever, playing and with instructor. We had an amazing day at the beach, at a local beach called Edithvale Life Saving Club. We had a day out there with lots of activities, games, with life jackets and everything. We absolutely had a blast on that day. Absolute beautiful day. So that made my first experience very, very impressive. I was very impressed, and I said that I want to do more. How can I have more days like this? I mean, water's all about fun. That's when I asked this instructor from Life Saving Victoria that how can I do more of these, and then they referred me to a guy called David Holland.
Who's now our boss.
Yes, who's now our manager. The problem was that I could not swim at all. So that needed to be polished. Just a little problem.
You want to be a lifesaver, but you can't swim.
Exactly.
So you needed help with that.
Certainly. So that's when I asked about help. How can I get some help? That's when Life Saving Victoria helped me with my swimming first. So about good 4 terms of swimming. They funded my swimming lesson, and after 4 terms I could make the required swimming distance. Then I did the training, which was again delivered by Life Saving Victoria in partnership with the Edithvale Life Saving Club. That's when I did my life saving training.
Because I think I remember you telling me another time that was maybe, so you came to Australia in 2012, and then what year did you do Edithvale training?
I think it was end of 2014, start of 2015.
Okay, so that was only 2, maybe 3 years after coming to Australia.
Yeah.
So you learnt English, learnt how to swim, and then you're a lifeguard on the beach talking in English and swimming everywhere.
Yep, that's correct.
In 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. If that won't motivate people, I don't know what will.
Well, that was a struggle, but a lot of hard work in it.
Okay, cool. And we know now that you are working for Life Saving Victoria. When did that all happen?
So I started working full-time at YMCA Dandenong Oasis as a recreational officer. And after I had worked as a recreational officer for a while, again, developed my skills, developed my personal development. It had given me quite good experience in aquatics, and that's when opportunity came up for multicultural project officer, and I submitted my application, and I was fortunate enough to be able to be one of the multicultural project officer.
Yeah, and now here you are now today.
Yeah, here we are.
That's it. And What's next? I know that you mentioned something about Ambulance Victoria and doing some work with them.
Yep. So currently I'm under enrollment process with Ambulance Victoria, just to further develop my skills. This is something that I wanted to do after year 12, but I could not do due to the circumstances. Now I have that opportunity to be able to work and study through Ambulance Victoria and become a paramedic assistant, and hopefully in a few years' time, in 6 years' time, I'll hopefully be a professional paramedic, saving again in same pathway, saving lives.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess so. To to look at that story in very short form, you came to Australia when you were 16, didn't speak English, couldn't swim, have been involved in the aquatics industry for 8 years now, going from a trainee, a pool lifeguard. You've done some work in Sri Lanka, overseas, became one of the managers at the swimming pool. So that helped you get some good work. And then now one of the big wigs in the office that wearing a cool uniform at Lifesaving Victoria. Yeah. And it doesn't stop now. You're looking to go ahead and continue developing your career. And I guess one thing that Lifesaving has given you, some skills that Lifesaving has given you, is going and looking at ambulance and paramedics as another career path. So it is really a great story. And I'm sure there's many people who will watch this video and will be inspired. I know you inspire me with everything that you do and you have done.
Thank you, much appreciated. Yeah.
What advice would you give for people? I know people could, sit here and listen to that story and say, "Oh yeah, that sounds good," but how can I do that?
Yep. So my advice to people, the new arrivals, would be, if you want to improve your English, you need to go to school, you need to study, you need to work hard, make friends who are not the same language speaker. Always try to speak English because that's how you improve. And if you want to, you can become anyone, you can do whatever you want, just like I did. If you want to become a lifesaver, if you want to become a Ramzi and work at Lifesaving Victoria, yes, you can. If you want to become a paramedic, of course you can. You just need to work a little bit hard and stay committed and be a dedicated person when it comes to your career.
Very good, Ramzi. I think that's a good note to leave us on. So thanks for chatting today, and I'll see you back in the office.
No problems. Thank you very much for having me, Michael. I'll see you back in the office.
Thanks, mate.